Today I've got a wacky homebrew for you, and boy am I excited about this one. I am calling it Orvar the Ooze Lord. Now, the game plan is all about getting out an Orvar the All form and creating as many Biogenic Oozes as possible. So we are in Simic colors exclusively, blue and green, and it's really just kind of a mid-rangey, grindy engine kind of pile. We've got several bounce spells in order to get our opponents off tempo. We've got a good amount of ramp to get into that Orvar. And then we've got several cards such as Tamiyo's Safekeeping, which can target our permanents, specifically looking to target our Biogenic Oozes in order to copy as many of them as possible. So, a weird start off to this turn one, or game one here, as we don't ramp into anything, and I'm really just planning on playing the Brazen Borrower play here, which is going to be perfectly fine. We also have the nice combo of Orvar plus a nice Tamiyo Safekeeping here, so if we're able to get down Orvar and they can live, and there is our Ooze. So now let's go over these two combo pieces so you can be aware of exactly what we're doing. Orvar the All form is a 4-mana 3/3 shapeshifter with Changeling. So he is every creature type, he or she. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents that you control, create a token copy of that permanent. So if we can target any permanent that we control, now sadly it is going to go down, but if we can target our creature, hold on, my dog's barking. If we can target our creatures while we have an Orvar out, we get to make a nice little copy of that creature. Now this is going to pair extremely nicely with Biogenic Ooze, which says when it enters the battlefield, we create a 2/2 Ooze token, and then at the beginning of our end step, we put a +1/+1 counter on each Ooze we control. So obviously, if we can get multiple of the original Biogenic Ooze out, we're going to get multiple counters on every Ooze, plus every one that enters the battlefield creates a 2/2. A hilarious mini combo is that Orvar is an Ooze himself, because Changeling gives it all creature types. So the top end of the deck is obviously insane if we're able to make an army of Oozes, and it's absolutely super fun way to win, but it is pretty hard to pull off getting out a 4/4 or a 4-mana card that's not doing much, and then a 5-mana card that really needs a lot of help in order to do anything. Now, we've got an interesting choice here. We could put down Toski to draw a card, but I do feel like we need to start putting some pressure on these planeswalkers here. So we are going to put down another Ooze in order to get a nice wide board here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and just completely take out this Acolyte of Flame Chandra, and then holding up the Safekeeping is going to be really nice here in tandem with this Biogenic Ooze. We've got a nice wide board here that we can start getting counters on, and I'm actually feeling like we're in a pretty decent position. Now this Chandra is going to draw them some cards, so hopefully we can remove it on this next turn. But they are doing pretty well. Okay, Tamiyo's Safekeeping here. Hopefully they don't have double Chandra's Triumph here. We've seen several of these, and they're just going to straight up give it to us. So not the super combo win, but obviously the deck does kind of work. So let's keep getting some more games and see if this deck can actually be a real thing, and let's keep going. So looking at this opener, going first, 2 landers. I don't love it, but I am very interested in that turn 1 Llanowar Elf. We also are going to have that turn 2 Applied Biomancy up, able to return a target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. So I think I'm feeling aggressive here. I just want to keep this Llanowar Elf, try to ramp into a turn 3 Toski. Could be quite nice. We will get 2 opportunities to draw that land card in order to get that Toski out. So I think that feels pretty good. We've got the tempo play in our back pocket if needed. We're going to start to break into a little more of the deck list here so you guys can see what is going on. So Applied Biomancy is a fantastic card for the deck. It both can return a target creature to its owner's hand, so that's the tempo play, but also if we have our Orvar out, it can give one of our creatures +1/+1, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, let's see. Interesting choices here. Giada is a pretty big problem. So each other angel enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1, and it ramps. So in order to put down a Toski, we have to let them ramp out the next angel and put a +1/+1 counter on it. But we also have double bounce spell here in order to put whatever was put in with the counter back into play. So that convinced me enough that we can put out the Toski. Hope they tap out and tap Giada for a 4-mana angel that we can bounce, and then Toski can get in for 1 free damage. That is my hope here. Unfortunately, Giada is going to be available for a block, But, oh, and it has Vigilance. But we can do a nice little play here with the Applied Biomancy, which I think is worth it over getting down an Ooze. So let's start off. We're going to return the Righteous Valkyrie so that that cannot be a blocker. We're going to swing with Toski. Giada will go for the block. And then we're going to go ahead and put the Applied Biomancy on, get that removal spell, and then also take care of that ramp. Oh, we actually get to do both of these, which I don't think I actually want to do both. I actually just now realized you could do both. This card is even better in the deck than I thought. So we'll go ahead and get that removal. Hopefully Toski will get an opportunity to get in there for some damage. We are going to get some Oozes down next turn, but they're obviously going to have a pretty nice blocker here somewhere for us. So Bishop of Wings, very, very good card in the Angel deck. So I don't know if we're going to be able to take care of this deck. We don't have many options to deal with it unless we can actually get our combo out and working. Toski will just be a little chump blocker here. Luckily, we also get to go very tall, interestingly enough, in this deck, if they don't take care of all the things we've got going on. Oh, and I just realized Applied Biomancy is not a +1/+1 counter. It's only +1/+1 until end of turn. Righteous Valkyrie is really causing some problems, so not exactly sure what we're supposed to do about that. We could do double block here, but I think we need to keep our Ooze, so I'm not feeling nearly as good about this round. I'm thinking we're going to lose to this Angels deck here. They had quite a nice start. I guess we'll go ahead and draw one card for free here. Or we could draw multiple cards. I just can't really think of what we need. I mean, getting them below... Actually, one hit will take off their bonuses. So that's pretty good. I think we'll just do this. We'll draw one. We'll deal enough to put them below the mark. Thassa's Intervention can counter whatever they put down. So that's pretty good. Okay, I think we might have a chance. If we can get Orvar out plus the combo, we might be able to get enough going. They just have such beefy creatures that it's really, really hard to interact with all of that. But our creatures are going to go to be quite tall unless they deal with them. So, let's see what they've got for us now. Getting them down to below 27 was key, because that's going to really slow them down. That's a Giada. And when that enters, it will gain them 2, which will put them to what they need. I think we have to counter this. So we're going to go X3, counter it. I think that's a little too good to let them have. We pretty much had to counter any Angel at this point, I think. And we're just hoping for the best case scenario for us. Sadly, their threats in the air are a pretty huge problem. Yeah, we have nothing in the air except for this Borrower, which just isn't going to do that much work. Okay, luckily, they stay below the 27 threshold, but I'm still not feeling confident at all. We don't run any kind of board wipe or anything like that in the deck, so that's not good. But they are apparently interested in throwing this Bishop of Wings our way, and then they smartly change their mind. Okay, that's really helpful, actually. I think I'm interested in a big, big swing here. Borrower can help us if they do any funny double blocking shenanigans, which I would double block these two on the Ooze, which if they do, will be a nice blowout for us. So that's going to be fantastic. I think we've set up a pretty good attack here. Chance to draw a couple cards. Okay. Yep, you get that for free. That's fine. What are they thinking for blockers? I'm hoping they do the double block. Okay, that makes sense. Are they going to just maybe throw a chump blocker in here to stop me from drawing a card? Okay, that makes sense. We'll take one. I think that was a pretty smart block by them, honestly. There's Orvar. Fantastic. And... ooh. Okay, we got to get this down now. We still have our Borrower. We actually get the interesting play of bouncing our own Biogenic Ooze if we have to. Orvar, as I mentioned, gets the counter from Biogenic Ooze. Amazing. And then Orvar, I forgot to mention it, but it has a second spell or ability. If an opponent causes us to discard Orvar, we actually get to do, we get to create a token that's a copy of target permanent. That pretty much never happens, but occasionally. Okay, huge problems here because of all that life gain. That's probably just going to be the elf for us, just because they gain so much life. I guess I should have bounced the other Valkyrie beforehand to try to keep them from gaining quite so much life, but I think I just pretty much gave them the win. Even if we bounce here, they've still got plenty, right? Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're still alive. We're still in it. We got a KO. That's good. Yeah, I just don't see in the air. I don't know what we could even get here. I guess we would need more bounce spells. Let's just go ahead and swing out. Draw as many cards as we can. They probably get to kill Orvar, though. So that's unfortunate. Unless they're afraid of something else happening. Okay, that's actually great. Give us 3 cards. See if we can find an answer here. But honestly, not looking good. Nope. Nope. Those 3 lands are not going to do it. On to the next one. Let's see what we can find on the ladder here. Okay, another interesting start. Let me know down below in the comment section how you would tweak and adjust this deck based on what you've seen. Are there any cards you think should be added? I mean, obviously it is a jank deck, and so it's not really going to like tear up the ladder or anything like that. And I'm a pretty like average or below average deck builder for 60 card formats, I feel like. I'm still really getting my sea legs around building for 60 card formats. I'm a commander player at heart, and I feel like I'm a pretty solid builder there. But when it comes to building new cards in 60 card formats, it's a tough job. It's hard to create decks that are good, and obviously, you know, all the best things eventually get found just because there's so much information out there. So if you're playing a deck that's not real, chances of you finding a new card or new combo that's insanely good is so small. But I think there's plenty of moderately okay decks out there to find. Fun to be had, at least. I enjoy the brewing process, so I enjoy making some jank decks once in a while just to kind of stretch my brain. It helps me understand the format better, to understand why some cards are so good, to understand why I need more interaction or more card draw or less of this or that. So it's a fun process, and you should always build some fun decks, especially if you know, pull a couple of the same card out of a pack. Like I decided to build this one today, for example, because I had already 3 copies of Orvar and 3 copies of Biogenic Ooze. I didn't want to do any crafting while we save up for this next season that's coming up at the time of recording. We're getting ready for Dominaria United to come out fairly soon. But other than that, yeah, so just fun to build around the stuff you've got. So that's kind of how we got to this deck today. Alright. Pantagruelic. Looks like we're playing an enchantment deck, of course. We see the Jukai Naturalist coming down. So we'll see if they're going for shrines or runes or what they've got going on here. Okay, they've got 4 mana to spend on an enchantment here. Touch of the Spirit Realm. That seems like a bad choice just to hit a little Llanowar Elf. I feel like it's not really worth it. Yeah, I think you just get to keep that. We're not that worried about that. Companion is nice for 1 mana. That is nice. Okay. Let's see if we can draw a genuine threat here. Toski would have been great to get that down now. But sadly they did obviously take away that ramp we had. We'll have Ooze mana next turn, so that's fantastic. Another companion coming down for 1. That's pretty brutal. They're just setting up a nice little engine here. Okay, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, it gets +1/+1 counter, and then you can bring it back to your hand if you get enchantments going. Pretty solid card. What is this? Removal? Exile target creature opponent controls mana. Okay, that's fine. You can have that, no problem. So they're going for a pretty wide enchantment strategy here, it looks like, which I think is fine with us. We're going to have a great blocker against these companions, at least for 1 turn when Toski comes down. But then after that, we really need to draw something meaningful because they've got a wide board and we need some way to respond to that. Bouncing the Kami will be good because we're going to get to shrink that a little bit. They're going to exile Toski and basically just win the game right there. I mean, we've got lands and kind of weird unplayables, basically. So that's pretty sad. I guess we'll just put this down and then say go. let's go ahead and bounce the Naturalist. And then let's go ahead and bounce the Kami. Trying to buy ourselves some time, but not looking good for this deck today. Kami comes back down. Naturalist comes back down. And we probably take the L. Elvish Mystic. Not going to be enough. Let's move on. Try again. See what we can do here. Alright, we do see some ramp. We see another one of our bounce spells. With incentive to bounce our own cards. Geistwave. So that, I think that could work nicely if we ever get the Orvar combo out. I think the thing I'm seeing is just lack of consistency. It's pretty hard to find Orvar, so maybe some ways to seek out the Orvar are good. I mean, I have 2 or 3 copies of Neoform in the deck right now. Okay, we are going against a Constrictor. Okay, Realmwalker. This is a card that I think is going to be pretty great in the deck that we haven't seen yet in these last couple of games. Realmwalker. So, as it enters, choose a creature type. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast creatures of the chosen type from the top of your library. So, Orvar is all creature types and is able to be played like that. Now, sadly, we did not hit a land, or they would be available. Now, I think we are going to get down a lot of ramp here, which is going to be pretty great. So, maybe there's a scenario here where we actually get to do some cool things with Orvar. Even getting a couple Realmwalkers down could be interesting. But they also just put down a 5/5 Stonecoil Serpent, which is a problem. So we're going to take 5. Safekeeping can help us block. We've got a lot of green out there. Let's go with another blue. Okay, we're going to get down Orvar. We can bounce the Stonecoil Serpent, so that's going to buy us time. Except we don't have blue. So we can use Tamiyo Safekeeping this turn to keep something alive. Probably going to block with our Realmwalker. Tamiyo Safekeeping it to keep it alive. So that'll create a copy of Realmwalker, which is cool. Wow. 1 tap, double Hearted Scales, make this a 9/9 with Trample. That's just absolutely insane. So we're only going to save ourselves 3 damage. I think we just let that go for now. Wait until our blue mana comes back up, and then we've got to bounce that darn thing. Because this is just getting insane. So we need a real threat here. That's not going to do it. But I feel pretty good about buying ourselves some time. They have to tap this to keep the counters going. So hopefully they'll keep tapping that instead of attacking. Okay, that's good. That's good. First, we bounce the Stonecoil Serpent. And do we bounce this as well? It starts off as what? It starts off as just a 1/1. Why is all of our blue tapped? I guess we've just got Safekeeping. Well then, we're going to do this. 1 blocker, if my computer will work. 1 blocker. And then we're going to Safekeeping. Finally actually get to see Orvar resolve. For this one, we'll choose anything else, really. Because this is going to be our second Ooze. I'm super confused. I don't know if my computer's working here. I'm really confused on what's happening. But we do have another block. All of these spells are just insane. Oh, there's our copy. I was just missing it. So that's Elf. That's Ooze. Neither are on the top. It's tragedy. Yeah, pretty sad here. Pretty sad. So this gets to come in for just insane amounts of damage. With Trample, we've got to bounce it again. So we'll bounce this. And then I think we've got to at least 2, 3, 4. I think it's worth getting rid of this to stop that ability to put a bunch more counters on it. I mean, they get to cast it X5, and then it just enters as like an 8/8 still, which is pretty bad. But we're just trying to dig ourselves out of this. I don't think we can get it if they keep swinging, doing that. So, go ahead and flash this in. Probably take another L. Lands. Okay, we've got the Lair of the Hydra. Or we could cast our Biogenic Ooze. We are at enough life where we kind of are fine here. Let's cast the Ooze. Get our value. Pass. Put a bunch of counters on a bunch of things. Now we might be in a position where we can actually block and kill this thing. 3, 6, 7. 8's pretty rough. But I think we kind of just have to stop it, though, don't we? Question is, what do we keep back? What do we let them have? The trample is really tough. Do we just give them a Biogenic Ooze and hope we draw something off the top? That's 3, 6. Throw the Realmwalker as well. They'll probably let us keep the token. Yeah, I mean, so far they haven't shown us any other threats, so I think we just have to kill this. They'll let us leave the token for sure. If they do get another threat down, we've got the Lair of the Hydra ready to go. Orvar could eventually produce value if we can get things rolling. But right now it definitely feels like we're on our heels. But we also have 4 creatures out, so that's not nothing. Maybe that was a tough block. I don't know. What would you have done there? What would you guys have done on that tough block? What would you done? If you're letting me know in the comment section. Oh no, I knew something wacky was happening with my computer. Probably have to make a cut here. Well, apparently we are back. Let's see if it lasts. Having lots of weird issues. It feels like we should have already timed out. I'm not sure what's going on. Sadly, we're going to have to cut today's video short because of some technical errors. Here is the deck list if you want to check it out. If you enjoy Explorer content, check out another one of my videos right over there. Thank you so much for joining me for this short little tidbit of a weird deck. Have a great day, my friend.